Okay, so today we start with the lecture on the topic that is algorithms of MapReduce. Okay, now these are the. Can you see this presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So these are the university questions which are asked on MapReduce algorithms. In 19th of May 2019, they asked about matrix vector multiplication. Okay, that we have done previously. Matrix and vector ka multiplication is extensively used by Google to calculate the page rank, and they had the problem that they wanted to calculate the page rank, the size of the pages, or internet is growing too fast, and they had to come up with the solution. So they came up with the solution for the first time using MapReduce technique. So matrix vector multiplication is invented by them, and MapReduce got invented because of that requirement of Google. And after that, they made it public, and now people are using it, this technology. Okay, so the this is a very important question, matrix vector multiplication, which is easy to understand. Okay, we'll quickly revise or revisit to this. Today's my objective is to teach you about multiplication, and that is one step. Okay, in the previous lecture we have studied matrix to matrix multiplication in two steps. Okay, so there are two types of matrix multiplication, and yesterday's lecture or previous lecture, we studied matrix to matrix multiplication with two different steps of MapReduce. MapReduce performing for two times. Okay, today we are going to learn it about one step matrix multiplication. Okay, now once they have asked this question, they have given this two matrices, and then they have asked to illustrate that how this uh, matrix ka multiplication will happen using MapReduce, and they are not mentioning here one step or two steps, so you can use any method and solve it. And then of course you have to write down the pseudocode. Pseudocode is must in every algorithms. And if you observe and if you just go through it, then it's not this writing pseudocode is not a big challenge. It's easy to write it. Then sometimes they have asked about joining operations of two relations, like if there are two tables, database ka tables. So if we want to join two different tables, and then we want to fire some uh, query or analytics on that, then how this is done with the help of MapReduce. So this question is also asked for multiple times. Here again multiplication, here two-step matrix multiplication, here join and intersection. So overall, I can say that about MapReduce algorithms, there is approximately one question of 10 marks in each and every paper. And there are very limited number of questions which are asked as per the syllabus, because this is only there in the syllabus. So either they ask matrix vector multiplication or matrix to matrix multiplication or joining operation or intersection operation. So there are four questions. You have to prepare all these four, and at least one of them will be there in the exam. Okay, so so let's see like what is MapReduce. MapReduce is an important component of core component of Hadoop. In MapReduce, there is job tracker and task tracker. Job tracker is the master, task tracker is the slave. Job tracker performs the entire job. It identifies all the tasks which are there in the job of word count or job of matrix multiplication, and then it distributes the task to the task tracker. It will ask the task tracker to perform that particular task of mapper, reducer, or mapper or reducer task, which is written by the programmer. And shuffling is a task that is done by the framework that I told you already. Okay. I'm talking about MapReduce layer. MapReduce layer has a component job tracker and task tracker. In the Hadoop cluster, when you install Hadoop, this job tracker component and task tracker component is already installed in the machine. Task trackers are running on slave nodes. Job tracker is running on the master node. You submit the job of word count or matrix multiplication to the job tracker. Job tracker identifies the task such as mapper or reducer, and it selects the particular node where the data is residing by communicating with name node, and it initiates the task tracker to perform the task submitted by the programmer. This is what is the flow. In the HDFS part of Hadoop, HDFS is responsible for storage of data. So your job is going to be executed on the data, and HDFS is responsible for storing that data in a distributed fashion. So for that, you have the master node as a name node and slave node as a data node. On the data node, all the data is stored. Like here in the example of matrix multiplication, your matrix M is stored in this manner. A particular element of matrix Mij is stored as the group of three elements I comma j comma Mij, where 1 comma 1 comma 2 indicates that M11 is equal to 2. So the every element of matrix may be stored on a different data node. So if you have 2 by 2 ka matrix, there are 4 elements, and 4 data nodes may be selected where each data node is having one element of the matrix. Okay, so the element is stored in the form of row iterator, column iterator, and the actual element. Okay, so it is, if it is 112, that means that it is a M11 element and the value is equal to 2. So here the HDFS layer may this entire matrix is in the form of a flat file that is submitted to the name node. Name node will distribute, will divide this file into chunks. Like every matrix element, it will extract the every matrix element and it will store that matrix in the distributed fashion. Because there are billions of elements in the matrix in real world for PageRank kind of application. So like this, your name node is a master and data node is a slave node where the actual matrix elements are stored. And we are assuming that in the matrix multiplication problem, our matrix is stored in the form of a group of three elements. So M is having Ij, Mij, and your J should be same. Number of columns of M should be equal to number of rows of N. So in N, the element is stored as J, K, and Jk, where this J is common. So here this J is row, number of rows, iterator, and K. And we get the resultant matrix as Ik, you know that. So your element is, N ka element is stored as Njk, while your resultant answer may get stored in a distributed fashion, and that matrix may be capital P, indicated as P, and the element is Pik. So Ik. So just remember, Ij is for matrix M, Jk is for matrix N, and Ik is for matrix P, and the matrix is stored in a distributed fashion, all three matrices. After this mapper and reducer working on the matrix ka elements, your resultant matrix ka element is stored in this format. Okay, this is the way it is going to happen. Okay, so before that, like I have gone through this slides, but I just want to revisit it because after a break we are meeting. So this MapReduce algorithm is not suitable for any kind of queries such as searching for a product or recording of the sales or updating of the database, searching for a particular product in online, like Amazon ka website may, if the customer want to search for a product, it may not be suitable for such kind of queries, but it is suitable for the queries where you don't have to update the database. And you may want to find out who are the users with the similar buying pattern where the data is huge. Because every second some of the transactions are going on somewhere in the world overall. So finding users with similar bias, finding two similar users, or doing the matrix multiplication for the page rank, for such kind of programs only MapReduce is suitable. Okay, so in the matrix vector multiplication, we'll go through quickly that to revise what is mapper, shuffler, and reducer. Okay, so as I told you that in the matrix vector, you will have a vector like this, where there are two rows and one column, and your matrix is having three rows and two columns. So here this J is common, and you get 3 by 1 ka vector. Okay, means three rows and one column ka vector. Matrix vector multiplication ka answer is always a vector, because here this one row indicates the relevance for a particular page in the page ranking algorithm. Okay, so here what we do is that here this first row of this matrix A, like I'm naming this as the matrix A, this is a vector B, and we get the vector B. So this row of this A is multiplied with the column. Okay, here we consider the row with all the columns, and here we consider all the rows for the column. And answer is 1 into 8 plus 2 into 9. Okay, so this row and this column is important. So J is common in this. And so that's why so this is done in this is shown in the form of mathematics, like 1 into 8. So Ij into Vj is multiplied, and summation of that till J is over. So for J is equal to 1 to till number of elements in elements of J, like till the number of columns of Aij into Vj. So this multiplication is done for that many number of times, and the addition of everything is the element Bi. Okay. So this is the way. Now the element is this is the mapper function. This here in this case, this mapper is doing a very simple job. So we'll see the pseudocode afterwards. Mapper is doing a very simple job. Like here for the element, the first mapper, I'm assuming that there are a total here 3 into 2 means 6 plus 2. So I'm assuming that there are 8 mappers. Suppose there are 8 mappers. The first mapper, there is no guarantee. We can, depending on your cluster and the availability of the machines and the load, this is decided by the Hadoop framework. I'm assuming, suppose there are 8 mappers and one mapper is working on one matrix element. Then that mapper is getting this value 1 comma 1 comma 1, where this 1 indicates that for the matrix A, this is the ij values. And so the input to the mapper is 1 comma 1 comma 1. That means this is a11 element value is equal to 1. So what it will do, that mapper, that it will fetch Vj value. So J is equal to 1. It has received this particular tuple. So it will know that J is equal to 1. So it will fetch Vj value from somewhere in the framework, and it will multiply it with A11, or Vj will be provided to that mapper. We will assume that, and it will create this output. So it is creating a pair of two elements. The first element is I, and the second element is Aij into Vj. That is what is mentioned here. That the mapper function takes two input, key and value. So the key is the name of the matrix A, and the value is this group of three elements. 1 comma 1 comma 1 is the value, and key is the name of the matrix. Suppose here A comma 1 comma 1 comma 1 group is the value. So what it is saying, that for every ij in aij, for every I comma j comma aij in the value, for every value, suppose it is receiving multiple values, then for every that values, it will emit this particular output. And the output is a combination of the output of mapper is intermediate key value pair. So this is an intermediate key value pair. This is an intermediate key and this is a value. So the intermediate key is I. So with respect to I, it is going to return Aij into Vj. So Aij is equal to 1, 1 into Vj. Vj means the first. So it will calculate this partial output 1 into 8. So like this, all the mappers will do. Just they are just manipulating or changing some values. For ij, aij, it is returning I comma aij into Vj. So this is a pseudocode. So like this, for 1 comma 2, it is going to produce I as 1, I as a key, intermediate key, and 2 into V2. 2 into V2 is 9. So 2 into 9. So that is the actually partial calculation. So every mapper will do this. So like for third element, okay, so there are 6. Uh, there are 6 mappers, not 8. Okay, and the intermediate key value pair is generated. Now this is given to the shuffler. What is the shuffler job? Shuffler is the done by the framework, Hadoop framework, and shuffler is going to look at the keys. Okay, so the key here is this first column, I. So shuffler is going to look at these keys and it is going to do the sorting operation. So it will shuffle all these keys. These keys are lying on different data nodes. Now it will shuffle all the keys, and the keys will go to the another data node where the reducer is residing. Okay, reducer is a code, and mapper is a code that is transferred by job tracker to the task tracker, and task tracker has started executing it. So the keys are shuffled by the shuffler and they will reach to the location where the reducer is there. Okay, so it will see that what is the key. So key is 1. So all the keys which are having the value as 1, they will reach to the location of a particular reducer. Okay, so what shuffling will do here, that it will this shuffler's output will be the input to the reducer. And what shuffler will do, just remember here, this is the important thing. Shuffler will return this information in such a way that it is going to return the key with the list of values. Here the mapper output is a key and a single value. But now shuffler for the particular key, it will create a list, Python ka list or Java ka list. It will create a list of all the values combined together, and will create a list with the key, and it will send it to a particular reducer. So here I can say that reducer for this both the keys here for I is equal to 1, it will create this key and value pair where key is 1 and the value is a list of values. This is again a key value pair, but value is a list of values. So it will create this one, and it will combine both the values. These are the two elements in the list, and it will give this as input to the reducer. Shuffler's output is input to the reducer. And what is a reducer's job? Reducer's job here in this case to do the summation of all the values. So this will act as an input to the reducer, and reducer will do the addition. And what it will store 1 comma 1 into 8 plus 2 into 9. So it will add all the values which are there in the list, and it will store it. And if you observe, this is the first element of resultant matrix. How this resultant matrix is stored? It is also stored in the form of a key value pair, that the first row are this value. So this is the first row and this is the value. Okay, like this for the key 2, again shuffler will create a list and value pair, and it will send them to the another reducer. That another reducer will go through all this list of values, and it will create the summation. That will be the final answer. So it will say that the second row will have this particular value, which is the second row ka value. Like this will happen. Like third, 3 is a key, and this is the list of values which will be sent to the third reducer, and the reducer will do the summation. So if you want to see the pseudocode is very easy. This is the same pseudocode of word count problem. Okay, so one more problem can be asked in the exam about MapReduce to explain MapReduce with respect to word count, and write down the pseudocode for that. Okay, that I think I have included in the previous lecture of MapReduce. So let's see the pseudocode for the reduce function. This reduce is going to take the input as key and values, where values is a list of values. So it is going to receive this key 1 and this list of values. Now it will say that the result or sum means this final answer is equal to 0. And then we are using a for loop to iterate through this list. So for value and values, get the value, added to result, get the value, added to results, and there are only two values, so it will happen for 2 times. 0 plus 8 will be having 8 in the beginning, and then 8 plus 18, like this, and then it will emit once all the values are over, it will emit result and key value. Okay, so this is the way like MapReduce works. There is a mapper function, reducer function. Mapper and reducer functions are written by the programmer only once. Shuffling is done by the framework. Shuffling is done in such a way that keys are sorted. The output of intermediate key value pair of mapper is sorted according to the keys generated, and it creates the list of values. And reducer's job is just to do something with this list of values. The reducer is not performing any heavy job. Mapper is going to perform the heavy job most of the time. So your complex code is there in the mapper, and shuffling is done with respect to the keys, and reducer is doing some operation of summation, maximum or minimum or average or something like that. I have told you and taught you this in detail in the previous lectures. Okay, previous to previous lecture. But this is a very important topic. So we are looking at it because now if you are clear, this is a simple example, matrix vector. So if you're clear with this, we will go for the one-step matrix multiplication. So any doubts in this? If there are any doubts, please you can ask me the doubts. Any doubts in the chat window, you can just tell me that have you understood? If you have not attended the previous lectures, go through the recorded lectures and mm, maybe understand all the concepts of Hadoop and MapReduce. Because now maybe I need one or two lectures more for MapReduce, and then we are going for the new chapters. The next chapter will be NoSQL databases, NoSQL databases. There are 4 types of NoSQL databases as per the syllabus. So we'll see one in one, not in much detail. There is only the weightage to NoSQL topic is that one NoSQL पे 10 marks का question will be there in the exam. So Hadoop ecosystem, MapReduce, and NoSQL. So and then in the syllabus, every chapter is interesting. After that, every chapter is not the chapters are not interlinked with each other. They are based on MapReduce, but you can start with new chapter and new concepts, okay, and new types of analytics, and they are very interesting. So I request you that you just go through all the lectures if you have missed the lectures, and be thorough with MapReduce topic. Okay, any doubts? You're not responding. No one is writing anything from BE class. Are you all sleeping at 12:30? You can unmute and write down, or you write something always in the chat window. Otherwise, I feel that I'm talking to the computer ka screen. I don't want, I want to talk to you people when I'm teaching you. Okay. If you have missed the lectures, see the links. I've posted the link in the classroom. So visit the lectures and go through the lectures anytime. You can just spend some time on listening. Okay. So we'll move on to the today's main topic of the lecture. Okay, this is a diagram which shows you mapper and reducer ka function. Mapper is working here. Just what you have to remember here is that the key and value is the input to the mapper. Mapper ka output is the intermediate key value pair. That intermediate key value pairs are shuffled, like here blue color keys are generated at 3 different places by 3 different mappers. They are shuffled by the shuffler and they are reaching to one reducer. So this reducer will get the input as uh, the key, this key, and a list of values. And the output of reducer is another key value pair where the value 3 is some operation done on the list of values. Okay. So I'm just repeating this again. What you have to remember to understand the next part of my lecture is that you have multiple mappers and multiple reducers. Normally, the number of reducers are less than the number of mappers. Mappers are more in number. Reducers are less in number. But here, for simplicity, in the diagram, it is shown that there are 3 mappers and 3 reducers. This particular diagram I have taken ready-made. Otherwise, I am drawing each and every the diagram I am drawing on my PowerPoint presentations, and the simulations I am creating on my own. Okay, this particular diagram, they are showing the same mappers and reducers. So what I want you to remember to understand the next of the lecture is that your mapper is getting the input as key value pair. Maybe the key is the name of the file and the v1 is the chunk of data, this chunk of information, and it goes through this and it generates the intermediate key value pairs. So here the multiple, this K2 is occurring for multiple times at multiple places. There is no guarantee how many times K2 is generated. It depends on the chunk where uh, and this mapper may have the combiner which may combine the results also. So it may work like a reducer but at the mapper side. Okay, that we have seen with respect to word count. So mapper ka output is intermediate key value pair that is acting as input to the shuffler. Shuffler will is a framework. So shuffler is looking at all these outputs of all the mappers. It knows everything what is happening in the cluster. The shuffler will extract the same keys at different locations. From all different locations, it will extract all this the key which is same, and it will send all the keys together. So it may perform a group by operation or sorting operation, and it will act in such a way that all the same keys are reaching to the one reducer. And so this will have the input as the key with the list of values. Now this is the input to the reducer. The reducer output is the key and some operation done on the keys. Okay, so this way mapper and reducer works. Mapper ka input is key value pair. Mapper ka output is intermediate key value pair. Shuffler ka input is intermediate key value pair. Shuffler ka output is key and list of values. Reducer ka input is key and list of values, and reducer ka output is final key and value pair. Now, in case of two-step matrix multiplication, this mapper and reducer are very simple. That code is very simple. They are not complex. Okay, so they are doing very small job. But in two-step, this entire thing is happening. Mapper and reducer. Then again, it is repeated. Again, this mapping and reducing is happening for the second time. So two times this is happening. So it is called as two-step matrix multiplication. So there are two mappers and two reducers. So one mapper, then one shuffler, then one reducer, then the second mapper, then second shuffler, and second reducer. This way it is going to happen in two steps. So in two steps, the logic of mapper and reducer is very simple. But in one step, it becomes complicated. So today my objective is that even if you understand that much is that is enough for today. That if you understand one step matrix multiplication using MapReduce programming properly, that is fine for today. Okay, so today's objective is to understand one step matrix multiplication. So let's see here. This is my there are two matrices, matrix M and matrix N. My matrix M is 2 by 2 ka matrix. Matrix M is a 2 by 2 ka matrix. There are two rows and two columns. Matrix N is 2 by 3 ka matrix. Okay. Are you understanding? Okay. What is the objective for today? We are going to learn about one step matrix multiplication using MapReduce. Okay, so today's objective is to understand properly one step matrix multiplication using MapReduce programming. Okay, so let's see here. I have two matrices, matrix M and matrix N. And after multiplying them, I'm getting the third matrix, that is the matrix P. Okay, so see that here the first matrix is 2 by 2 and the second matrix is 2 by 3 ka matrix. So here my number of rows of the first matrix, number of columns of my first matrix is equal to number of rows of the second matrix. So this is R1 C1 and this is R2 C2, and C1 is equal to uh, R2, that we already know. But you need to remember in terms of IJK values. So I'm just reminding you that is 2 and my resultant matrix is 2 by 3. So if I'm using I as a iterator for rows, so this is I into J and this is J into K, and I'm getting I into K ka values for the P matrix. And here also I'm doing the multiplication, that this row is considered and then this column is considered, and then they are multiplied and added together, and this is to be done for multiple times. And when we are writing a sequential program, what we do is that we access the every element row wise and column wise, and here also we are getting every element. So first we calculate this element, then second, then third, then second row ka first, then second row ka second, then second row ka third. Like this we sequentially calculate. But this problem is the best example of parallel programming, where each and every element can be calculated parallelly at different computers. And when there are n's of billions of elements in the matrix, and the matrix is a sparse matrix, then this particular method is suitable. Sparse matrix means the size of the matrix is number of rows and columns are huge, but most of the elements are not having any value. Most of the elements are not having any value. For example, for recommendation kind of problem, Then in the Netflix, there are many customers, and if we want to see that what are the ratings given by the customer for a particular movie, so it depends on the customer. Customer sometimes doesn't give any ratings to any movie, so it depends on his time and mood to give the ratings. So if he gives the rating, then it will be some high rating or low rating. So that metrics will have some value in the range of 1 to 5. But if the customer is not giving any recommendation or any ratings or feedback, is not providing any feedback, then the metrics will not have any value for that particular movie and the customer. Like here, we can represent a problem in the form of a customer representing a row, and so there is one customer and there are three movies. So one column represents one movie. Such kind of things also can be represented in the form of a matrix, and the elements are the matrix is a sparse matrix. So if it is a sparse matrix, one particular element of the matrix can be stored in this format. This method is suitable to store the matrix only if the matrix is a sparse matrix. Otherwise, to store one element, we are requiring three memory locations. Okay. So in case of if your matrix is having all the elements, then if it is a huge matrix and one element is taking the space to three times of the normal space, then it will not be a efficient kind of storage of a matrix. But if it is a sparse matrix, it makes sense that a particular element is stored by using three memory locations. The first memory location indicates I, means row. Second element indicates column, and the third element indicates the actual element. So the element stored here is 1 comma 1 comma 2, where one indicates the row, first row. This one indicates the second first column, and the third element indicates the value. So so it is one M11 element. So that's why it is M11 element, which is equal to 2. Okay. So in this method also, your all the elements are stored in HDFS in this format. Okay, the first step is always storage of data. Okay, for solving big data analytics problems, the first step is to store the data, and the second step is to process the data. This I'm telling you again and again, normally maybe in each and every lecture, that big data analytics, there are two steps. The first step is to store the data in a distributed fashion, and the second step is to process the data. So the first step is to store the matrices, matrix M and matrix N, both the matrices. So all the elements, there is no space here. Actually, I use the blackboard to solve this, and I use the entire blackboard. So my screen is, this slide is a blackboard. So I'm not showing here all the elements, but I'm telling you that all the elements of matrix M and N are stored by using this group of three elements. So 1 comma 1, 2 is stored. Then 1 comma 2 comma 3 is the second element. Then 2 comma 1 comma 4 is the third element of M. Like this, the elements are stored for both the matrices. Okay, so that is, we are assuming that it is already done, that I'm not showing on the screen. And as this particular method is a one-step matrix multiplication method, we are asking the mapper and reducer to do the more work compared to two-step. In the previous lecture, we have studied about two-step matrix multiplication. Okay, so that mapper and reducer are very lightweight code, but here it is a little complex code. So pay your attention properly to understand the logic of mapper and logic of reducer. Okay. So what is done till now? We'll summarize. I have two matrices. I want to multiply both of them. I'm going to get the third matrix. My third matrix will be of uh, the name of the matrix is P, and each and every element is accessed using I comma K, where I indicates number of rows and K indicates number of columns. Okay, for my resultant matrix. So my uh, PIK is the value for the element for matrix P, and here it is Ij and here it is Jk. Okay, so don't forget, M means Ij, N means Jk, and P means Ik. Okay, so now what this mapper will do? what this mapper will do? The mapper will get the key value pair. The key is the matrix M, the name of the matrix M, and the value is this value 1 comma 1 comma 2. Okay, so this element is the value. See, I told you mapper can input is key value pair. The key is the name of the matrix M, and the value is the element. So it may get the input as capital M comma 1 comma 2. Okay, as for the first element. Now what it will do for that element, for each MIJ element, what it will do, that it will produce the key value pair, intermediate key value pair. That we know every mapper creates intermediate key value pairs. So for this intermediate key value pairs, uh, the the key, it is generated in such a way that the key is ik. The key is I comma k, and the value is the first element is the name of the matrix. That is the key of the input here. Name of the matrix M, comma J, comma Mij. Okay. So this is a simple, like once you remember this, it is not difficult to remember. The mapper will take the input as the name of the matrix and this value. Okay, so for the first, suppose for the first mapper, the input is capital M, comma, this bracket, whatever is written in this bracket, 1 comma 1 comma 2 is the input to the mapper. And what is the output? Output is I comma k, comma M comma J comma Mij. Okay, so we'll see that. Okay, this it will do it for matrix M. But for matrix N, what it will do is that now the element is njk. Element is njk, but it will keep the key same. To produce the output, it will keep the key same. So ik will remain as the key because we want the output in the form of ik for p. So ik is outside here, and shuffling is done on the basis of ik. So for the element, if the matrix element is the element from matrix N, it will create the intermediate key value pair in such a way that ik is the key and the value is the name of the matrix N and J and njk element. Okay, so njk ke liye here J is inside and k is outside, and here mij ke liye I is outside and J is inside in this pair. Okay, so we'll see, like with the help of one element we'll take and we'll see how it is happening. So for matrix M, I'm showing here in this box for matrix M. So for matrix M, for the first element, what it will do, what the mapper will do, that for it will say this is for one element Mij. So for this first element Mij, where I is equal to 1, J is equal to 1, for all values of k is equal to 1, it will create the pairs. Right now, what is the value of k? What is currently the value of k is, like how many values of k are possible here? Can you reply me on chat? How many values of k are possible here? How many values of k are possible? See here in this diagram and tell me how many values of k's are possible. Right, there are 3 values are possible. K is there for 1, 2, 3. 2 by 3. 3 columns are there. So k ka maximum values are 3. So for k is equal to 1, it will create all the pairs of Mij. So here this is M11 pair for value k is equal to 1. Like this, this is for k is equal to 1, it is M12. M12. So first row and second column is 3. Then for k is equal to 1, second row, first column, Ij. Second row, first column, the value is 4. Then again for k is equal to 1, second row and second column. So there are 4 values for k is equal to 1. There are 4 values for all 4 elements, 2, 3, 4, 9. 2, 3, 4, 9. All 4 values of matrix elements like Mij, all Mijs for k is equal to 1 are listed as the intermediate output of the mapper. Now k ka value is equal to 2. For k ka value is equal to 2, again it will generate all four pairs. So for k ka value is equal to 2, this is m11 that is equal to 2, then m12 that is equal to 3, then m21 that is equal to 4, then m22 that is equal to 9 for k is equal to 2. Now k is equal to 3. For k is equal to 3, again it will generate the pair m11 that is equal to 2, m12 that is equal to 3, m21 that is equal to 4, and m22 that is equal to 9. So this is for k is equal to 1. This is for, because I have given the space here to understand this. This is for k is equal to 1, this is for k is equal to 2, and this is for k is equal to 3. So it will, the mapper will create so many pairs, intermediate value pairs for different values of k with respect to ij values, every element of matrix M. Similarly, this is same, like because there is no space, I'm showing it in the another box for the matrix N. For matrix N, it is going to extract or create the pairs like ik outside and njk inside, where the element is jk. So here we were referring 1 1 as the element here, one outside, one outside. But here we have to refer it as 1 1, like j first and then k outside. So here also for k is equal to 1, it is generating njk element. Okay, for I is equal to 1, it is generating the first value, that is 5. Okay, njk 1 1. Then for k is equal to 1, your jk is 2 2 1. This is the element, second row first column. Second row first column is 2. Similarly for 1 2, the element is jk, so 1 2 first row second column. First row second column is 6, and the key I is equal to 1. And then it is also creating element 2 2, second row second column, then third row first row third column, first second row third column. So all the elements of n, uh, all the elements of n, capital N, jk elements for I is equal to 1. Okay, now for I is equal to 2, the same thing is done, because here I is nj is considered, n and j are considered in the element, so I is a separate. So for now I is equal to 2, it will do the same. So for I is equal to 2, the 1 1 element, then first row first column, second row first column, then first row second column, then second row second column, first row third column, second row third column. Okay, so the elements are listed here. Okay, so so if you remember, you need to remember to solve this problem. You need to remember this particular thing. Like for the element M, for the matrix M, the element is Mij, and Ik is the key, so J is inside. For element N, Njk is the element, so Ik is outside, so J is inside. And create the pairs. Create the pair for all three values of k here, and create the pairs for all the two values of I here for the matrix N. Now this is the output of mapper. It will go as input to the shuffler. So shuffling is done by the Hadoop framework. Now if you observe this, I have given some different colors to it, so that here the key 1 1, Ik key 1 1 is in the same color. Key 2 1 is in the same color. Okay, so these are the keys. So now what is the shuffler's job? To find out all the same keys generated and create the list of values. Create the list of values for them. Okay, so each key Ik will have associated values of Mij and Njk for the possible values of J. Okay, for the possible values of J, here J is equal to 1 2. Here J is also 1 2. So, but we cannot perform. We are doing one-step matrix multiplication. So instead of creating a single list of values, what this shuffler will do is that it will sort them on the basis of J. It will remember here, it is important thing, it is sort them on the basis of J. So J is 1 here, and it will, instead of keeping them in a single list, it will keep them in the two different lists. So for the key 1 1, it will sort it on the basis of J, and it will create a list of value. So for M12 will be here, and N15 will be here. And here the sorting is done on the basis of J, and two list of values are created for the key 1 1. The second list of value will have the J is equal to 2. So these two elements are there. And this is going as input to the reducer. This entire thing is going because the same key at the same reducer place. So both the list of values are going to the input to the reducer. So this reducer, this is the pseudo code which you have to write in the exam. This reducer needs to connect these two values in the list which have the same value of J for each J. So it will sort by J for M, and will sort by J for N in two separate, in different, in separate lists. Now, what is the reducer's job here? To extract the Mij and Njk values and multiply them. So it will multiply 2 by 5, and it will multiply here for the list 3 into 2. If you observe here, the first term is 2 by 5 and second term is 3 by 2. So it will extract these values, multiply them and keep it here. And it will extract the value, multiply them and keep it here. So the first list is having now at the reducer side as M comma 1 comma 10 and M comma 2 comma 6. So first term and second term of this partial calculation. And then reducer will also have to do the summation of both the products. So these products are summed and the result is paired with IK. And this is your IK pair. So now what is the output of reducer for this input is this here. The first term calculated, and 1 comma 1 is IK key, and 2 into 5 plus 3 into 2 stored at a particular reducer's location. So if you observe this, this is the element of matrix P. So matrix P ka first row, first column, this is I and K. First row, first column is equal to 2 into 5 plus 3 into 2, which is here shown in this calculation on the matrices, which is there in front of our eyes. Okay, so I have done this animation, black color animation, only for two keys to explain. So we'll see for the second key, just to revise. Now for the second key, what it will do is that it is the first, second key I'm taking it as 1 comma 2. So the shuffler will look into 1 comma 2 all the keys. All these keys are in observation of the shuffler. Now shuffler will sort them on the basis of J. So shuffler will create a list with the key as 1 comma 2, and with J is equal to 1, it will list down both the elements. And then for J is equal to 2, it will create the another list. And this is the output of shuffler that is going as input to the reducer. Okay, so the key is 1 comma 2, uh, and this is a list of values sorted on the basis of J. Now here the reducer will extract these values for same J, and it will multiply 2 into 6 and keep it here, and 3 into 4 and it will keep it here. So if you observe the element first row second column for the resultant matrix P, first row second column is 2 by it is 2 into 6 and 3 into 4. Okay. So here the partial calculation is done. Uh, it will do the summation of these products, and it will create the output and store it locally on the reducer's side. So the reducer ka side pe the output will be stored, final output 1 comma 2 is the first row second column of the resultant matrix. First row second column of the resultant matrix is equal to 2 into 6 plus 3 by 3 into 4. Okay, so this will happen for all the keys. So 1 2 1 1 1 2 is done. Now the first row third column. First row third column is shown in the gray color here. So they are shuffled and sorted on the basis of J, and they are stored as 1 comma 3 as IK pair with the value. Then the second row first column is this orange color keys shuffled, then multiplication is done and summation is done. Then blue color keys 2 by 2. Second row, second column, second row, second column is 4 into 6 plus 9 into 4. Okay, then the last. Okay, like this, the value, the output is stored by the reducer. And then this output, if it is a huge output, then it is also stored in the form of a distributed fashion. But to the client will see it as a flat file where the matrix elements are stored. All the matrix elements are stored for the resultant matrix. Okay. So this is about the one-step matrix multiplication. Now the next topic is about joining and intersection. So as the time is over, correct, Stella said, as the time is getting over, we'll see that in the next lecture. So I need only one lecture of MapReduce now. That is on Thursday, and then on Friday we will start with the new chapter, that is NoSQL databases. Okay. So any doubts till now? Have you understood this particular part? Have you understood the this algorithm?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you for listening, Sela, Pranay, Abhishek.